Hi everyone, my name is Karina. So today we're going to be talking about multitasking as a student and an employee and how to do it effectively. So obviously multitasking is a really tough thing to do. You have to focus on multiple things at once, and that doesn't really come naturally to us. So in turn, you could end up multitasking too much, you could multitask too little, and as a result of all of that, you're not going to be able to acquire certain skills. So what even is multitasking? That is performing tasks at the same time, managing different tasks at the same time, and switching focus from one task to another. So as a student, I'm a student. I have so many classes, so many assignments that are due at certain times. There's so many due dates that you have to keep track of. So every week you have a lot to multitask. On top of that, you can have club meetings, you have professor office hours, you have a social life. So there's so many things that you need to balance as a student. So we need to learn how to multitask effectively. As an employee, it's kind of the same, except you have different types of things, such as meetings instead of classes. You have projects to work on, you have presentations. So there's a lot you have to multitask for there too. Some examples of multitasking would be doing a presentation while also talking about it. You have, if you are a front desk receptionist or anything like that, you have to talk to customers while typing in a computer, or maybe like typing in data, something like that, or something along those lines. If you are working at a register, you have to package products while you are handling the cash register. So those are just a few things, a few examples of ways that people multitask. So with everything, there are benefits and drawbacks. So multitasking as a good thing would be you're promoting productivity and you are getting favorable results from that. You're doing things much more efficiently, but there are also drawbacks. So we can start with benefits. One thing would be that you're being as effective as you can and you're being very efficient. So that's obviously a good thing. You're getting a lot of things done in a smaller amount of time. So that's another plus. You're saving a lot of time and you're also saving money. So from an employee's perspective, the more projects you get done, the more money that you're going to receive. So if you can get more projects done in a small amount of time, then overall you're going to finish more products and end up getting more money. So it's definitely a good skill to have for the long run. Also, you're keeping your thoughts active, you're constantly switching back and forth, so your mind is gonna keep on moving and using its gears. So if we're gonna go on to drawbacks, a big thing, the main thing, is that you're not paying enough attention to each task. So once you're getting used to switching back and forth, you're losing your focus every time you switch. So you definitely have to figure out how to avoid doing that or do it effectively, and we're definitely getting into that very soon. Another drawback is that you kind of get more anxiety. You're switching back and forth, there's too many things to focus on, and it kind of gets all jumbled in your brain. I know that happens to me all the time, so that's another issue. And also, you're lowering your level of expertise in a specific skill, which goes back to not paying attention to each task, so you are lowering your expertise because of that. So now the main part is, how can we avoid all of this? One is test your slow motion multitasking skills. So you want to slow down instead of getting busy attitude. And that is something personally I would need to work on as well. I feel like so often I'm trying to think of, how can I do this faster? How do I get this done? And in turn, that ends up taking way more time than if I actually just slow down and completed my work. It's always that same lesson, as the slowest one wins the race, because you're kind of focusing more on each detail. So another thing would be that you should also put your phone away. Phones are a big distraction. I can definitely agree with that. I feel that putting my phone in a different room, putting it on Do Not Disturb, that will keep you from getting distracted and it'll help you complete your work a lot faster. I know I just keep on checking my phone once I get a notification. I get so curious about what it is. So if you just turn it off, put it away, you can just focus on your work and then get to all of that later. Another thing would be to establish a routine for exercise. So this isn't something that usually you would think of, but it's definitely very, very useful. So exercise helps work your brain. So while you are multitasking, exercising at the same time could be useful. And I'm not saying to be lifting weights while you are trying to study, but something easy that you could do is just read while you're walking on the treadmill, or maybe listen to an audiobook while you are doing the exercise bike, or something like that, something easy. You also don't really have to do work while you're exercising. Maybe if you have been working for a long time, take a break, maybe do some yoga and then begin your work again, and that's a good technique. The last thing to avoid bad multitasking would be to schedule a time for your to-do list. So this is something that a lot of people suffer with. So while you are working, you're constantly thinking, oh, I have to go pick this up, I have to go drive over here. There's so many things on your to-do list that you have to finish in that day. So you can get easily distracted thinking and like worrying about all the things that you have to end up doing. So one thing you could do is block out time in like the morning or evening to finish those things, and then so that you don't have to worry about it while you're working. So if you block out time, then that's an easy thing to do. Or you can also just write down everything that you need to do, and then that will keep it out of your brain, like thinking about like, oh, I still have to do this, I still have to do this. Now it's all on a piece of paper, you can get it out of your mind. So in conclusion, multitasking is something that you can learn here at K&G Career Academy too. We let you pace yourself while you're earning your certification, and you can study when it's convenient. So I hope you learned that there's a lot of good ways to manage your time, which you can apply while doing your coursework for K&G Career Academy certification.